kind of miss how hard MMOs used to be. What do I want to play? No. You son of a bitch! I just spawned! Too hardcore! I just died and I just spawned! I'm done. Hey gang, it's Death, and today we're talking about Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. Pantheon, not for everyone. No, that's wrong. Pantheon, fun for everyone. Huh? Dear God, Battle Axe Theater is gonna talk about making Pantheon easy for everybody, and everybody can just jump in, and it's gonna be the next WoW. Oh my God! No, that's not what this video is about, so hear us out, okay? Saying that Pantheon may not be for everyone when it could be is the only point we're trying to make.
So let's paint a picture here. Let's take a look at the new player that's never played this style of MMORPG before.
You know, you hop into a modern MMO that people have been conditioned to and that game developers have designed. You know, that's all people know. People that are going to be playing Pantheon or wanting to try it out have probably never played UO or Dark Age of Camelot or EverQuest 1, maybe EverQuest 2, but you know, that's all they know.
They jump into the game and they go out there and they start hammering away on mobs like they're used to in their traditional modern MMORPG. Only they find themselves with significant amounts of downtime, they've got very little abilities to use at the very entry level of the game, and they're dying very easily doing corpse runs in a classic style MMO as early as level 2 or 3 because you're not quite really understanding how the game works.
So you get into Pantheon, and you've never played an old school MMO. You go out and you see these lizards or rats or bats or whatever it may be the case in Terminus, and then you start killing them, and you're level 1, and you take a couple of them down, you finally get to level 2.
I think what we need in terms of barrier to entry reduction is we need to paint a different picture. So let's picture the new player. They enter the game, and they go out and they start to hit these mobs as usual, but they're introduced to things like the perception system. They're introduced to things like the disposition system, where they're finding different styles of mobs, and they're seeing this increased difficulty. But we're not seeing it as this steady, high-level increased curve, but we're seeing it more like an angular curve, something like we would see toward the end of the levels in BDO. So you get to level 1, and to get to level 2, it's increasingly difficult, you know, when you're fighting a level 1 versus a level 2 mob.
Oh my God, this guy is hard to kill now because I'm killing a giant spider instead of a bat.
Then you're fighting a level 3 mob, and you're noticing things getting more and more difficult. And by the time you've achieved level 6,
oh my God, what do I do next? And then, you know, you keep trucking along, and you keep trucking along, and then, like, what is that player to experience that has never played a hardcore MMO, right?
You're like, man, things are getting quite difficult. I'm having to maintain XP from level 4 and level 5 mobs because these level 6 mobs are they're not efficient. Every time I kill one, I've got to sit down and I've got to med and heal.
The first thing they're gonna do is tab over to the next screen and start YouTubing and start looking for guides and stuff. But what if Pantheon guided the players to kind of train them, if you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is kind of mold the player into the old school way, the way that MMOs used to be, the way when MMOs were good, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of guide them just a little bit to like level 10 and be like, you know, like, this is gonna get progressively harder the more you level.
So you go out and you're doing your little adventure and you come across a level 6 kobold and you're like, This kobold, he looks a little bit beefier. He's got a name. He looks like he's significant, and you're intrigued. You really want to take care of this. And this guy's here at this camp, and you're like, I know there's got to be something going on with this dude. So you go in and you throw yourself at this kobold, and you die. And then you do it again, and you die again. You're only getting this guy to like 75% health. So you button up your strategy, you look at his skills and his strategy and see what he's doing, and you think you got it all fine-tuned, and you do it again, but you're only getting him down to 60% health.
Welcome to a real MMO.
Well, that's crazy, right? Like, I've never seen this in an MMO before, but now you're starting to feel that difficulty. Well, you got Jimmy over here, the cleric, doing the same thing. He's going in and he's maintaining, he's burning through his mana, he's healing himself up, but he's still only getting that mob to 60%. And then you got Larry over here rolling up on his tank, and he's doing the same thing. He's going in there and he's holding his own, but he just can't put out enough damage. And he's like, man, why can't I do this? So you're all sitting around, you're waiting on your res sickness, you're just having this conversation, and you're like, you know what? Why don't we group up? We've made this relationship, we've had this conversation. Let's group up and see if we can take this guy down. So you guys group up, and with a little bit of teamwork, you take him down fairly easily, and you get him down, and you're feeling accomplished. And lo and behold, on this corpse, there's some loot, and you loot him. And one of the things that you loot is, an item or something that leads you in the direction of, the Cave of Wonders. And the perception system has got things that take place that kind of guide you on how to get to the Cave of Wonders.
As you progress and you figure out things on your own, and you have the perception system, and you have the disposition system, and you have all these brilliant systems that Pantheon is bringing to us, you're going to learn that as you level up. But as you level up as a new player, blindly coming into Pantheon, not knowing what EverQuest was and what all these old school MMOs were, how are you going to be conditioned to adapt to the way that this game works? Larry and Johnny Crabnut or whatever, and they're working together at Wonder Hill or whatever. And you see they're working together, and then you see like a bunch of mobs around, and you see those mobs aren't attacking them. Well, new dude joins the group, and he learns what a crowd controller is. He learns that there's it's a kill one mob at a time type game. You can't just run in willy-nilly like in other MMOs and just pull like 8 to 9 mobs, and it's like, everybody AoE! Don't do anything! AoE!
So you and Larry and Jimmy, you decide, you know what? Let's go ahead and follow this because we're excited, we're pumped, we just took this dude down. We want to work together to accomplish something. So you head on over to the Cave of Wonders, and you get to the entrance, and you're there, and you're killing mobs at the entrance on the inside, and you're doing all right for yourselves, but you really can't make any forward progress that complements what you're attempting to accomplish. You've got this, what appears to be a quest to go accomplish something, and the further you go, the more risky it gets, and you're not able to really push it because you keep dying. Well, you got a group of 2 higher level damage dealers that are a couple levels higher than you, and they're doing the same thing, but they're making the same amount of progress. Or you've got a CC class that's over here by themselves, and they're kind of managing along, but everyone's kind of hitting that same brick wall, that same stopping point. So then you sit there and you talk a little bit, just like you did when you met Jimmy and Larry, and you're like, well, what do we do here? So you guys get together, you form a group, and you use your abilities, the perception system, you learn about the disposition system, and you push deeper and deeper as you encounter these different systems within this dungeon. And by the time you're level 10, you've learned what it's like to play a classic style MMORPG. You've learned what it's like to play this type of game.
When I was playing EverQuest, working to get level 4 because I know about or kill, but I only know about or kill because other players have mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, well, that's where I need to go. And I go venture to this place, and I see there's groups there, and they're working in or kill to get to Crushbone, and I'm like, oh, Crushbone's where I need to go. It was so freaking immersive. Crushbone was just, 100 yards from me, and I'm like, this is the place where I need to go. In modern MMOs, you get these quests, and you get these breadcrumbs, and it tells you exactly where to go, what zone, where the mob's at. It's pinpointed on your little mini map, and it's just like, it becomes a easy task where you're like, oh, I just run here, do this, I'm done. And and it's all about that rush to end game. End game in MMOs it is where the game really starts for most people. And I believe Pantheon, once you get to in-game, that's where the game is going to start for most people. I don't care what you say, a lot of people can't sit back and chill and enjoy the experience.
That's one of the experiences that we really need to hammer home, because I like to think about it from this example. Let's say you taught yourself how to play guitar, and then you went to formally learn how to play guitar. Well, you've already picked up some bad habits because you taught yourself how to play, so you've got to untrain that before you can train yourself to enjoy playing this guitar the proper way. And I look at that the same way when it comes to the modern MMORPG gamer. We are playing with systems that are not inducive to group play. They promote solo play in an MMO environment because people are used to this casual mindset in a game. So what we've got to do is we've got to not only untrain ourselves, but the game companies have to untrain themselves as well from that mentality when going back to the classic MMORPG. So I think this is something that when we talk barrier of entry, people tend to get up in arms. Well, we don't want everybody to play this MMO. We don't want these little kids to be playing it, and so on and so forth.
My thing is I want Pantheon to be the next killer, badass MMO that we all want to play, right?
But the thing is at the end of the day, I think we all can appreciate the would-be gamer, and we want people to play our game. We want to have those individuals to play with. We may want a smaller community, but at the same time, we may have no community if things are barriered too far. And it's not to say that Pantheon is creating this barrier for everyone, but there is always that potential for a player that we never would have thought was into this style of game, providing they had some sort of weaned in difficulty to understand that these type of games exist and what their purpose is and how you're going to get along in that game.
But when you get this new gamer that's wanting to try this new MMO that everybody's talking about, how can we mold them into loving the game at whatever level that you're currently at? So why cancel out other people? If we get baddies, the reputation will precede them. We will let other people know you don't want to group with Larry because Larry just thinks it's another WoW, you know what I mean? Why cancel out other players on trying Pantheon? What if they love it? If they don't, they won't last, you know what I mean? It's why not help make Pantheon grow? Why not help make Pantheon the next biggest MMO? I mean, we're not going to do that if we just have this barrier of entry, and just be like, hey, you play WoW, bro. You go back to WoW. You go back to WoW right now. No, you cannot learn how to play a real MMO. We don't want you. Goodbye. I mean, you may disagree with me, but that is a, dare I say, toxic attitude to have. I mean, what kind of mentality is that if we don't want to encourage other people to play and explore Terminus with us? You know what I mean? After all, Pantheon is about community, and community really does matter. It's not just a hashtag. It is truth. It is why we play MMOs. Things are progressing as more people are pledging to Pantheon, as more people are learning about Pantheon. All these streams that are coming out, they are continuing to progress their level of detail, their level of gameplay. Is going to be a massive, wonderful, beautiful game, and I am a fanboy. So I'm saying this on a biased opinion because I was a hardcore EverQuest player. But I'm also saying this game could be for everyone. It could be for that guy that's only played new MMOs to realize, hey, that's not how it was, when these games came out, and this is way better. That's awesome.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I hope there's some sort of immersive weaning in process for the new player, so that way people like our children who have never been exposed to these types of games have that opportunity to have that same thing that we did when we were teenagers and were first introduced to some of these MMOs, and we can get in there and jump and play along with them.
So guys, thank you so much for sticking through this video, and the case in point here is basically this: we don't have to shun out all these new players that have never played a hardcore MMO. We can be welcoming, we can make it fun for them, we can show them the ropes and all that jazz. Whether you agree or disagree, please let us know in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell notification if you want to, join us on social media, join our Discord. Be sure to check us out on Battle Axe Live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys in the next video.